We tend to look to the outward appearance. Paul tells us in Romans chapter 2, verse 28 and 29, and I like this from J.B. Phillips' translation of the New Testament. He says, I have come to the conclusion that a true Jew is not the man who is merely a Jew outwardly. And a real circumcision is not just a matter of the body. The true Jew is one who belongs to God in heart. A man whose circumcision is not just an outward physical affair, but is a God-made sign upon the heart and soul, and results in a life lived not for the approval of man, but for the approval of God. Christ taught on this subject with a great deal of conviction. We hear him say in Matthew chapter 5, verses 21 and 22, Ye have heard that it was said of them of old time, Thou shalt not kill. And whosoever shall kill shall be in danger of judgment. But I say unto you, think about this now. Just really let this sink in. But I say unto you that whosoever is angry with his brother without cause shall be in danger of the judgment. And whosoever shall say to his brother, Raka, that's an old Hebrew term, and it means empty-headed or idiot, shall be in danger of the council. But whosoever shall say, Thou fool, shall be in danger of hell fire. Let me ask you a question. What would hurt the most? A complete stranger calling you an idiot? Or your own mother? Or your own father? Your own brother? Your best friend? What would hurt the most? You see, when your friend insults you, when your family abuses you, when your brother or sister in Christ hurt you, that hits close to home, doesn't it? Over the years, I've had a lot of people upset with me over the years. Some people were upset with my driving. I knew that because they told me I was number one as they drove by me. I've had other customers come into the pizza shop where I was working and they were really not happy with the pizza pie they got the last time, and they really let me know. I've had other kids from the hockey team against us, telling me how bad of a player I was and so on and so forth. But you know what? I don't remember any of these people. I don't remember their names. I barely remember what they said. However, there have been different times when my friends or my family, in just an unthoughtful word, an unthoughtful gesture, have taken a dagger and driven it deep, deep down into my heart. And it stayed with me for many years. Their words got under my skin. Their words cut close to home. These are the times when it's important to forgive them of their trespasses, when they've gotten too close and their words hurt. If we don't forgive, and here's why this is so important, if we don't forgive, then bitterness begins to grow in our hearts. And if we let bitterness or anger or unforgiveness grow, they will take root. My nice, new, beautiful Kubota tractor has got a real nice dent in it when I tried to pull a tree out, and that tree had a root that was too strong. You let things take root. When it's a small little sapling, you just go and yank it out. It seems the ones that I really like, all I got to do is look at them and they die. But the ones that are big, you try to get that tree out of there with a root on it, It's not going to be easy. Right? Let's jump back to Matthew chapter 5, verse 21 and 22, just for a second. The verse we already read. And let's cut in right at this particular verse. Thou shalt not kill. Jesus is saying that. He says, it is written of old, thou shalt not kill, and whosoever shall kill shall be in danger of judgment. But I say unto you that whosoever is angry with his brother without a cause shall be in danger of a judgment. So murder, that's an event that happened in the past, right? I mean, it's like everything else. Murder, that's something that happened in the past by definition. Even if somebody killed somebody this morning, it happened in the past. Now, I've listened to people talk in church who have murdered somebody. But it happened years ago before they went to penitentiary and after they got out and they traveled around. Ernie Hollins. Anybody here ever heard of Ernie Hollins? He murdered somebody. But it was in the past. It wasn't part of him no more. So, murders in the past. I stole something, that's in the past. I did something terrible, that's in the past. But anger, that's in the present. Something could have happened to me years ago and I never forgave, and anger took hold in my heart. Bitterness took hold in my heart. Envy took hold in my heart. Somebody transgressed against me, somebody trespassed against me, somebody cut too close, somebody hurt me, and those things, they're in my heart now, today, right here. It might be years since I broke one of the 10 Commandments. I'm not talking about myself personally here, but you know what I mean. It might be years since I murdered anybody, if I'm Ernie Hollins. It might be years since I broke into somebody's house and stole something. But unless I dealt with those root issues, those things are still in my heart. I don't know much about heaven, what it'll be like. Don't say, oh, Bob, you should know. No, I don't know much about heaven because it says, eye has not seen, ear has not heard, neither has it entered the hearts of man. Things that God has prepared for them. As good as I think it's going to be, not even close. Not even close. Can't comprehend it. But what I think I do know about heaven is this. There will be murderers there. David and Moses come to mind. Another thing I'm pretty sure about heaven is that there's not going to be any anger there. There's not going to be any hatred there. There's not going to be any envy there. There's not going to be any jealousy there. We have to get that stuff out of our hearts or it will take root. When somebody offends you, you have to get that out of your heart or it will take root. David warns us, above all else, guard your heart. See, it's your heart that God sees when He looks at you. The title of this talk today was Being Dead to the World. And you might think, well, that just means, okay, I'm dead to all the temptations of the world. I'm dead to all the sins of the world. I don't do this, I don't do that, I don't do the other. That's not really what I'm talking about. Because being dead to the world means just as much to me as it does to that monk living behind the walls of that monastery. It's being dead to what the world does to you. The fiery darts of the enemy. The things that try to really hurt you. Jesus Himself said, don't be afraid of the one that can kill your body. Be afraid of the one that can cause you to die inside and then you'll lose everlasting life. It's not the physical things of this world, not the physical actions that we have to be dead to, although that's a given. It's the things that are on the heart. For the Lord sees not as man seeth, 1 Samuel tells us. For man looketh on the outward appearance, and I might add, the outward actions, but the Lord looketh on the heart. No wonder David cried out, create in me a clean heart, O God, and renew a right spirit within me. Jesus Himself said, Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. Let's take a closer look at this. Matthew chapter 23, verse 27. Alas for you, you hypocrites, scribes, and Pharisees. You are like whitewashed tombs, which look fine on the outside, but inside are full of dead men's bones and all kinds of rottenness. For you appear like good men on the outside, but inside you are a mass of pretense and wickedness. Just like the monk I mentioned earlier, our battle is not on the outside. It's within. Do you know, if you insult me, if you really insult me, it's a lot easier for me to not punch you in the face as it is for me to not be really offended and hurt. I mean, it's a given that I won't punch you in the face, especially if you're bigger than me, right? No, but it's a given. I'm not going to do that because that's just, I'm way past that. But to have that barb stick in my heart, that's the hard thing. The holding back from doing anything physical or even to say anything hateful back, that's to say something, that's a little bit easier to do than to actually strike out and hit somebody. But to say something, that's a little bit easier, but still, it's still a temptation. But to not hold that in my heart, that's the real challenge. That is what really, really takes some effort. You see, if you really insult me, it's hard not to hold it against you. It's hard not to forgive you of your trespass because you really hurt me. Now, if you're somebody I don't know, I couldn't care less, right? But if you're somebody I know and respect and love, then that's a hurtful thing. That's a real challenge for me. You might say something in passing and don't even know you said it. But I might have taken that and just carried that and nurtured that for years, and it grows. It grows. You see, our topic this morning teaches us that I need to forgive those who trespass against me. And here's the thought I want you to think about. Not for their sake, but for my sake. I must do it if I want my heart to be pure. If I want my heart to be without bitterness, if I want my heart to be without unforgiveness. Because if I hold these things in my heart, can't forgive me. And the nice thing about that is I don't need your permission to forgive you of your trespasses against me. And you don't need mine to forgive my trespasses against you. We will all cross the line from time to time. Whether you're in church, whether you're in the office at work, whether you're visiting your relatives at Thanksgiving, somebody will cross the line. We will all step on each other's toes. We will all trespass against them as they trespass against us. And when we do, we must forgive each other for our own sakes. Anybody remember Bob Harrington, the chaplain of Bourbon Street? He talked about people who were so caught up in following the rules. He said, I said to one fella, he come to me and he said, I don't preach praise. He said, I don't smoke, drink, run around, chase cheap women, and act like the devil. I said to him, I wish you'd smoke. At least I could smell you coming up on me. You know, it's easy to change those things on the outside, but we need to really guard our hearts and forgive each other for our own sake, for what happens on the inside when we hold a grudge, when we nurture our hurt. You know, I don't really find it that incredible that Jesus could turn water into wine and he wasn't a drunkard. I don't find that incredible at all. I don't find it that incredible that Jesus could multiply food. I bet you they were the best fish and chips ever. But he wasn't a glutton. I don't find that incredible at all. What I do find incredible, though, what I do find incomprehensible, is that Christ also suffered for us, leaving us an example that we should follow his steps, who did no sin, neither was guile found in his mouth, who, when he was reviled, reviled not again. When he suffered, he threatened not, but committed himself to him that judgeth righteously. That, my brothers and sisters, is our example. Forgive, and it shall be forgiven you. And now back to our title, Dead to This World. When you say to someone, you're dead to me, you're telling that person, as far as you're concerned, they no longer live. As far as you're concerned, whatever they do doesn't matter. Whatever they say doesn't matter. That's the attitude we need to take to this world and its trespasses on us. Satan, world, you are dead to me. Amen. You're dead to me. What you say does not matter. What you say is not going to cause me to lose my faith. What you say is not going to cause me to be downhearted. What you say is not going to cause me to be filled with hate. You're dead to me. Paul the Apostle wrote in Galatians, he said, I am crucified with Christ. Nevertheless I live, yet not I, but Christ liveth in me. And the life which I now live in the flesh, I live by the faith of the Son of God, who loved me and gave himself for me. Imagine the words of Paul the Apostle, I am crucified with Christ. Why did he say that? He said that to remind you that you are to be crucified with Christ. That we are crucified with Christ. So what in the world are we doing up there? Like a thief on a cross next to Christ. We are not saving the world. At least I'm not. We are not cleansing anybody from their sins. At least I'm not. No. We are up there with Christ, looking down on those who have wronged us, those who have hurt us, those who have trespassed on our property, have come too close to our hearts and hurt us. And we say, like Christ, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. And we will not hold that hurt in our heart, but our hearts to be filled with love and compassion and kindness and gentleness and meekness and patience and goodness. In Luke 9, we read, then he said to them all, whoever wants to be my disciple must deny themselves and take up their cross daily and follow me. How often, Bob, do you think I'm going to have to pick up that cross? Because it's a hard thing to do. Well, back in Matthew, then came Peter to him and said, Lord, how oft shall my brother sin against me and I forgive him? Till 7 times? Jesus said unto him, I say not to thee until 7 times, but until 70 times 7. Paul said, I die daily. And in closing, I want you to remember, I want you to hear those words that are echoing in this building all the way from the 16th century. If you want to live the life of a monk, you have to live the life of Christ. Not an easy thing to do.